Hello, my friend. Welcome. I am so happy you are here today. My name is Anna, and this is the VUS Learning English podcast. Today, we are going on a special adventure. It is an adventure with words. Sometimes when we speak English, we feel like we are using the same words again and again. We know what we want to say in our hearts, but the words feel a little simple. That is completely normal. It is part of learning. But what if we could learn some new words? Special words. Words that make you feel more confident. Words that help you express your amazing ideas. In this episode, we are going to learn 12 new words together. These are not just any words, they are powerful words. But please do not worry. We will learn them slowly, step by step, with a warm and gentle heart. Our goal is not to be a genius. Our goal is to feel happy and confident when we speak. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you for giving your time to learn. That is a beautiful gift to yourself. Before we start, I want to ask you a small question. Where are you listening from today? I love to imagine all of you, all around the world, learning with me. It makes me feel so happy. If you enjoy our time together today, please think about following or subscribing to our podcast. It helps our little community grow, and it helps other English learners just like you find us. Okay, are you ready? Let's take a deep breath, and let's begin our word adventure. Word number 1, ubiquitous. Let's start with our very first word. Our first special word is ubiquitous. Ubiquitous. It looks like a big word, and it sounds a little strange. But do not worry, we will learn it together, step by step. It is easy when we go slow. Say it with me quietly. Ubiquitous. Ubiquitous. One more time. Ubiquitous. Wonderful. You are doing a great job. So, what does this big word mean? The meaning is actually very, very simple. Ubiquitous means everywhere. That's it. It means something is present or found everywhere. It is so common, so normal to see that you almost don't notice it anymore. It is just always there. Imagine it is a sunny day. You look up at the sky. The blue color is everywhere. The blue sky is ubiquitous. This word has a secret history. It comes from a very old word in a language called Latin. The word was ubique, and ubique meant everywhere. So the meaning is baked right into the word's history. Isn't that interesting? Let's think of some examples to make it feel real. Let's imagine you are traveling. You visit a beautiful country in Southeast Asia. You walk on the street, and you smell something delicious. It is street food cooking. You walk to another street. You smell it again. You go to a market. The smell is there too. The delicious smell is everywhere. You can say, the smell of street food was ubiquitous. This paints a picture that the smell was on every corner, in every city. Let's think about technology. Think about smartphones. Maybe 20 years ago, not many people had a smartphone. It was a special thing. But now you have one. Your friend has one. Your family has them. You see people using them on the bus and cafes everywhere. So we can say a beautiful sentence. Now smartphones are ubiquitous. It is a wonderful way to say they are everywhere you look. When can we use this word? It's a good idea to use it for things that are really truly everywhere in a place. For example, think of a famous brand, maybe a coffee shop or a type of car. If you see that brand everywhere in your city, on every street, in every shopping mall, then you can say that brand is ubiquitous in your city. Here's a common mistake. Sometimes people use it for something that happens a lot but is not everywhere. For example, in London, it rains often. But it is not raining across the whole city all at once, all the time. So we don't say rain is ubiquitous. But the famous golden arches of McDonald's, you can find them all over the world. So you can say they are ubiquitous. Okay, now it is your turn to think. This is your first challenge. It is just for fun, no pressure. Pause for a moment. Think of something that is ubiquitous in your city. Is it a certain brand, a type of tree, a particular sound? Now try to create a sentence in your mind. And if you feel comfortable, say it out loud. For example, the sound of motorbikes is ubiquitous in my city. Or, these beautiful pink flowers are ubiquitous in the spring. You did it. You learned your first word. You are amazing. Word number 2, egregious. Egregious. Are you ready for word number 2? I think you are. This next word is very strong. It is a heavy hitter. The word is egregious. This is another one that sounds big. But we are not afraid of big words, are we? We will break it down. Let's try it. Say it with me. Egregious. Egregious. One more time, just to feel comfortable. Egregious. Egregious. Perfect. You sound wonderful. So, what does egregious mean? The definition of egregious is outstandingly, shockingly bad. This is not for something that is just a little bit wrong. No, this word is for a mistake or an action that is so bad. It makes you gasp. It makes you say, wow, that is really, really bad. Let's imagine a story. Imagine a baker. He is making a beautiful birthday cake. He needs to add sugar to make it sweet. But he is not paying attention. He is thinking about something else, and by mistake, he adds salt. A lot of salt. The person eats the cake at their birthday party, and it tastes terrible. This is not a small mistake. This is a very, very bad mistake. It is a shocking mistake. We can say the baker made an egregious error. It highlights how serious and shocking the mistake was. Now, here's a fun and surprising fact about this word. The word comes from a Latin word, egregious. And a long time ago, this word meant something good. It meant excellent or distinguished. It meant you stood out from the group in a good way. But over time, the meaning completely flipped. Maybe people started using it in a funny, sarcastic way. And now it only means you stand out for being terrible. Language is so interesting, isn't it? Let's see it in action with more simple examples. Imagine a company has a rule. The rule is protect the environment, but the company puts bad chemicals into a river. This is very, very bad. A judge might say, the company showed an egregious disregard for the environment. It really shows the severity. It was shockingly bad. You can even use it in a casual way with your friends. Imagine your friend tells a story that is not true at all, a very big lie. You could say with wide eyes, wow, that was an egregious lie. It shows your shock and disapproval in a very strong way. Or think about sports. A referee makes a call that is clearly completely wrong. Everyone can see it. You can say, the referee's decision was absolutely egregious. So, when do we use this word? We save this word for the truly shocking failures. If your coffee is a little cold, that is annoying, but it is not an egregious error. But if you order a coffee and you get a glass of water, maybe that is getting closer to an egregious mistake from the cafe. Using this word gives your feelings maximum impact. Okay, now it is your turn. Let's practice together. Think about a time you saw or read about a truly shocking mistake. It could be from a movie, a book, or the news. Try to form a sentence using egregious to describe it. For example, the villain in the movie had an egregious plan to steal all the city's water. Or it was an egregious error to build the house on sand. Go on. Try to say your sentence out loud. Even a whisper is perfect. You are doing so well. These words are big, but your mind is bigger. Word number 3, sanctimonious. Sanctimonious. Oh, you are going to love this next word. It is a little bit playful. It is for describing a certain kind of person. We have all met this person. The word is sanctimonious. Another long one, but you know what to do. We will take it piece by piece. Let's say it together now. Sanctimonious. Sanctimonious. A little faster. Sanctimonious. Sanctimonious. Excellent. You are a natural. So, what does it mean? What is a sanctimonious person? Someone who is sanctimonious is making a big show of being morally better than other people. They act like they are more good, more pure, or more righteous than everyone else. And this is the important part, it feels fake. It feels insincere. It feels like they are not really that good. They just want to look good. It is that classic holier-than-thou attitude, like someone looking down their nose at you. Let's imagine a story. Imagine you have a friend named Alex. Alex always says, you should share your food. Sharing is caring. It is the right thing to do. Alex says this very loudly so everyone can hear. But when Alex has a delicious bag of cookies, Alex eats them all alone. Alex never shares. Alex acts morally better than others, but his actions do not match his words. So you could say, Alex can be so sanctimonious about sharing. It perfectly captures that feeling. He says one thing, but does another. This is called hypocrisy. The word's root is the Latin word sanctimonia. This word meant holiness or sacredness. But over time, it started to be used for people who were only pretending to be holy. Let's look at some more simple examples. Imagine a politician on TV. He gives a long speech about how important family is. He says everyone should spend time with their family. But then you read in the news that this politician never sees his own family. He is always working or on vacation by himself. You could say, the politician gave a sanctimonious speech about family values. It perfectly highlights the hypocrisy. In a normal conversation with a friend, you might say, my aunt is so sanctimonious. She always judges people who don't have the same beliefs as her. It just captures that smug, judgmental feeling perfectly. The key to this word is the hypocrisy, the feeling that it is not real. A person who is truly good and kind and quiet about it, they are not sanctimonious. They are just a good person. But a person who loudly preaches about how perfect they are while judging everyone else, that is sanctimonious. Time for you to practice. This one is fun. Think of a character from a movie or a book. Someone who has this I am better than you attitude, but is not really a good person. describe them in a sentence using sanctimonious. For instance, in the Harry Potter books, Dolores Umbridge is a very sanctimonious character. She talks about rules and order, but she is very cruel. You could say, the character was so sanctimonious, always pointing out others' small mistakes while hiding her own big ones. Now you try. Think of a character and make a sentence. Say it out loud. Fantastic work. This is a tricky word, and you are learning it. Word number 4, bleak. Bleak. Our next word is shorter, and it is amazing for creating a mood or a feeling. The word is bleak. The pronunciation could not be easier. It is just one part, one syllable. Bleak. Bleak. It rhymes with speak or weak. Bleak. Bleak. So what does bleak mean? It has two main feelings. First, it can describe a place that is empty, cold, and maybe a little sad. Like a field in the middle of winter with no leaves on the trees and a gray sky. But more often, we use it to describe a situation. A situation that feels grim, depressing, and without any hope. Let's explore this. First, for a physical place. Imagine a small village by the sea in the middle of winter. The wind is blowing hard. The sky is gray. There are no people on the streets. You could say, the coastal village was a bleak place in January. You can just picture that cold, empty, unwelcoming scene. Or imagine you are looking out a window. All you see are old factories, gray smoke, and no trees or flowers. You can say, he looked out over a bleak industrial landscape. But the real power of this word is when we talk about feelings and situations. It's metaphorical. If a company is doing very badly, people are losing their jobs. You might hear someone say, the future of the company looks bleak. This means the future looks hopeless. There is no sign of good things to come. An economist on the news might say, the economic forecast for next year is rather bleak. This means they think the economy will be bad. You can also use it for a feeling or for a piece of art, like a movie or a book. The film painted a bleak picture of life after the war. This tells you the movie was very sad, depressing, and grim. It did not have a happy feeling. Or on a personal level, his mood has been bleak ever since he lost his job. This means he feels very sad and hopeless. The common feeling here is coldness, emptiness, and hopelessness. It is a very heavy, emotional word. Don't just swap it with the word sad. A sad movie might make you cry, but you feel better later. A bleak movie makes you feel like there is no hope left in the world. It's a much deeper, colder feeling. Now it is your turn. Think of a movie or a book with a really grim, hopeless atmosphere. How would you describe it using the word bleak? For example, the book 1984 by George Orwell describes a very bleak future. You could say, the author's vision of the future was utterly bleak, offering no hope of escape for the characters. Go ahead and create your own sentence. Say it softly. You are really feeling the meaning of these words. Word number 5, daunting. Daunting. Now for a word that describes a feeling I know we have all had. I have felt this many times. You probably have too. The word is daunting. First, the pronunciation. Daunting. The stress is on this first part. Daunting. Let's say it together. Daunting. Again, daunting. Great. So what does it mean? A task or a challenge is daunting if it seems so big, so difficult, and so overwhelming that it scares you a little. It intimidates you before you even start. It is that feeling of standing at the bottom of a huge mountain. You look up, up, up to the top, and you think, wow, how can I ever climb that? That feeling is the feeling of a daunting task. Let's put it in context. Think about a huge life goal. Maybe you want to run a marathon, a 26-mile race. You could say, the thought of running a marathon is daunting, but I am going to train for it anyway. This sentence is beautiful. It captures that feeling of being intimidated, but also shows your courage to try. Here's another one. Moving to a new country was a daunting prospect, but it turned out to be the best decision I ever made. Learning a new language can feel daunting sometimes, right? There are so many words and grammar rules, but look at you. You are doing it right now. In a work situation, this word is very useful. Imagine your boss gives you a very big project. You have to reorganize the entire office filing system. You could say, this task is daunting. I will need to break it down into smaller steps. This communicates the size of the challenge in a very smart and professional way. It works for everyday things too. For a student, they might say, facing a 5,000-word essay is incredibly daunting. For someone who is new to cooking, cooking Christmas dinner for 20 people is a daunting task. The key to this word is that the scary feeling happens before or at the very beginning of the task. It is the anticipation of difficulty that makes something daunting. Time for your practice. What is a goal or task in your own life that has felt daunting to you? Maybe learning a new skill, like playing the guitar, or giving a big presentation at work. Create a sentence describing that feeling. For example, for many people, the idea of public speaking is incredibly daunting. Or learning all the new vocabulary for my exam feels daunting. Your turn. Think of your sentence. You are so capable. You can face any daunting task. I believe in you. Word number 6, undaunted. And now, right after learning daunting, we get to learn its beautiful, powerful, positive twin. The word is undaunted. It looks and sounds very similar, and that is because it is the opposite. Say it with me. Undaunted. One more time with a feeling of strength. Undaunted. So if daunting means feeling scared or intimidated by a challenge, undaunted means you are not intimidated. You are not discouraged by difficulty or danger or disappointment. It describes someone who looks at that huge, daunting mountain and does not flinch. They do not get scared. They feel strong and ready. It shows pure courage and resilience. Resilience is that ability to become strong again after something difficult happens. This is a fantastic word to describe heroes, leaders, or anyone you admire for their strength. Let's look at some examples. Imagine a story about sailors on the ocean. A big storm is coming. The sky is dark. The waves are huge. The situation is daunting, but the sailors are brave. The story could say, undaunted by the storm, the sailors continued their journey. This paints a vivid picture of incredible bravery. At work, you could praise a coworker. Maybe the company lost a lot of money. Your coworker had her project budget cut in half. It was a big problem. But she did not give up. She found a new creative way to do the project with less money. You could say, she remained undaunted and found a creative solution. You can also use it to describe your own mindset, your own way of thinking. I failed my first driving test, but I was undaunted, and I booked another one right away. This sentence shows that you refuse to give up. You have a strong spirit. Here is a historical example. Undaunted by the threat of invasion, the citizens prepared to defend their city. The power of this word is that it suggests the person knows the task is daunting. They see the challenge, they understand the difficulty, but they choose to be brave and move forward anyway. So a task is daunting, but a person is undaunted. Now it is your turn. Think of someone you admire, a real person or a character from a story, someone who faced a great challenge without giving up. Describe their attitude using undaunted. For example, despite many people telling her it was impossible, the scientist remained undaunted in her research. Or the little boy was undaunted by the big dog and held out his hand to be friends. Say your sentence out loud. Feel the strength in the word. You are undaunted in your English learning journey, and I am so proud of you for that. Okay, let's just take a small breath here. We have learned 6 new powerful words. That is a lot. Your brain is working hard, and you are doing an amazing job. If you're having some aha moments, those little moments where something becomes clear, and if your brain is buzzing with these new words, please consider doing me a small favor. Tap the like or follow button on this podcast. It is a simple, easy way to show your support, and it really helps our podcast reach more English learners all around the world. It helps our community grow. And if you want to keep learning powerful English with me, make sure you subscribe so you do not miss our next episode. Thank you for your support. It means so much to me. Now let's take another deep breath. Are you ready for the next 6 words? Let's get back to it. Word number 7, unwitting. All right, we are halfway through. Welcome back. Our 7th word is a little different. It is subtle, but it is so useful. The word is unwitting. Let's say it together. Unwitting. Again, unwitting. Perfect. So what does it mean? Unwitting means you are not aware of the full facts of a situation. It describes someone who does something without meaning to, without knowing what is really happening. They have accidentally become a part of a plan or a problem, but they did not know it. Let me clarify with a simple story. Imagine it is your friend's birthday. Another friend, Sarah, is planning a surprise party. Sarah asks you to do something. She says, "Can you please take our friend to the park at 6 p.m.? You say, "Sure, no problem." You do not know about the party. You just think you are going to the park. When you arrive, everyone jumps out and yells, "Surprise!" In this story, you helped with the surprise, but you did not know you were helping. You were an unwitting helper. You were involved, but not on purpose. Let's try a more serious example. Imagine a man gives his friend a ride in his car. He does not know that his friend just robbed a bank. The police stopped the car. The man helped the robber escape, but he did not know it. He was an unwitting accomplice. An accomplice is someone who helps another person do something wrong. A news report might say, "The driver claimed he was an unwitting participant in the crime." Here's a more everyday example. Imagine you are talking to a group of friends. You mention a secret that your other friend told you, but you did not know that one person in the group loves to spread gossip. Later, everyone knows the secret. You can say, I became an unwitting source of gossip. You did not mean to spread the secret. You did it unknowingly. The key here is the lack of awareness. The person does not know. An unwitting person is an innocent person in a way, even if their actions had a bad result. It is the perfect word to use instead of accidental when someone is caught in a complex situation they don't understand. Now it is your challenge time. Think of a movie or a book where a character gets accidentally pulled into something big, a spy story or a mystery. How would you describe their role? For example, in many adventure movies, a normal person finds a secret map. They don't know what it is. They become an unwitting player in a dangerous game. You could say, the tourist was an unwitting pawn in the international spies game. Go ahead, create your own sentence. You are learning so much today. This is wonderful. Word number 8, hapless. You know that one character in a story, maybe from a cartoon or a funny movie, or maybe even someone in real life who just cannot catch a break, bad things always happen to them. There is a perfect word for this person. The word is hapless. Say it with me, hapless. Great. The definition is simply unfortunate or unlucky. This word has a secret inside it. The hap part is a very old English word for luck or fortune. So hapless literally means luckless, without luck. It describes someone who seems to be a magnet for bad luck. Misfortune just seems to follow them around. Let's look at some examples. Think of a funny movie. The movie follows a hapless tourist on his vacation. First, he loses his passport. Then, he loses his wallet. And finally, the airline loses his luggage. All in one day. When we hear the word hapless, we immediately get a picture of this very poor, unlucky guy. And we probably feel a little sorry for him. In a more serious situation, you might read about a natural disaster like a flood. A news report could say, the hapless victims of the flood were left with nothing. This emphasizes their very unfortunate situation. It makes you feel sympathy for them. In daily conversation, you could say, I just watched a hapless waiter trip and spill an entire tray of drinks on a customer. Or to describe someone you know who is not good at something, my brother is a hapless cook. Every time he tries to make dinner, something catches on fire. This word is great because it often has a feeling of sympathy. It's more empathetic than just saying unlucky. Unlucky is just a fact. But when you call someone hapless, you are often saying, oh, that poor person. You feel a little sorry for the hapless person. Now it is your turn to practice. Think of a person, real or fictional, who seems to have constant bad luck. A famous example is Wile E. Coyote from the Looney Tunes cartoons. He always tries to catch the Roadrunner, but his plans always fail in a funny way. You could create this sentence, Wile E. Coyote is a truly hapless creature, constantly foiled by his own traps. Now you try. Think of a character. Maybe Goofy from Disney, or Mr. Bean. Create a sentence to describe them. Say your sentence aloud. You are using these words with so much thought. Word number 9, trite. This next word is your new secret weapon. It is a weapon against boring, unoriginal ideas. The word is trite. The pronunciation is super easy. One syllable, trite. It rhymes with right or light or night, trite. So what does trite mean? It means something is overused and unoriginal. You have heard it or seen it too many times. And because of that, it has lost all of its power and meaning. It is cliché and boring. When you call something trite, you're saying, I've heard this a million times before. It's not special anymore. Let's think about a story. A love story in a movie. A boy meets a girl. They don't like each other at first. Then they slowly fall in love. They have a small fight, but they get back together, and they live happily ever after. We have all seen this story many, many times. It is predictable. So you could say, the plot of that romantic comedy was very trite. This is a very intelligent way to say the story was boring and unoriginal. This is a very useful word when you are giving your opinion about a book, a movie, or an idea. In a book review, you could write, while the story was exciting, the dialogue was trite. The characters said things like, it was a dark and stormy night. In a business meeting, if someone suggests a boring marketing idea, for example, the slogan, "We are the best," you could say, that slogan is a bit trite. We need something fresh that will actually grab people's attention. It is a much smarter way of saying that's boring. You can also use it for advice. Imagine you are feeling sad and your friend says, just follow your dreams. Or, everything happens for a reason. This advice can be good, but we have heard it so many times. Sometimes it can feel empty. You might think to yourself, his advice felt a little trite, even though he was trying to be kind. The key is that the idea is not just simple. It is unoriginal from being used too much. A simple truth can still be very powerful, but a trite statement feels empty because it has been said to death. Time to practice. Think of a common phrase, a story plot, or a piece of advice that you find totally unoriginal. Something you have heard too many times. Form a sentence using trite. For example, the ending of the action movie was so trite. Of course, the hero stopped the bomb with 1 second left. Now you try. Think of your sentence. You are learning to express your opinion in such a smart and specific way. This is fantastic. Word number 10, adamant. Do you want to show that you will not change your mind? That your decision is final? That you are 100% sure? Then you need this next word. It is a very strong word. The word is adamant. Say it with me. Adamant. Again with conviction. Adamant. Perfect. To be adamant is to refuse to be persuaded. You refuse to change your mind about something. You are completely unshakable. This word is much stronger than just saying stubborn or firm. It implies a diamond-hard level of decision. You are like a rock. In fact, the word adamant originally came from the name for a mythical, unbreakable stone. So the meaning of strength is deep in its history. Let's see it in action. Imagine a negotiation at work. The boss of a company is talking about safety rules for the workers. Other people want to save money and have fewer rules. But the boss says no. You could say, the CEO was adamant that the company would not lower its safety standards. This shows a very strong, unyielding position. In your personal life, it is great for describing a strong belief. Despite everyone telling her she was making a mistake, she was adamant about moving to Paris to become an artist. This sentence shows her powerful personal decision. She will not be stopped. Or in a simple disagreement at home. He was adamant that he had locked the front door, even though we found it wide open. You can use it to describe your own feelings too, to show you are very serious. I am adamant that we need to finish this project by Friday. No excuses. Using adamant adds a huge amount of weight and seriousness to what you're saying. The key is to save it for situations where someone is truly unmovable, truly decided. You might prefer coffee over tea. That is just a preference. But you are adamant that an important promise must be kept. That is a deep conviction. Now for your practice. Think of a time you held a belief so strongly that you refused to change your mind. Or think of someone you know who is like this. Describe it using adamant. For example, the teacher was adamant that all homework must be submitted on time with 0 exceptions. Or, my grandfather is adamant that his old recipe for soup is the best in the world. Go on, create your own sentence, and say it with that strong, adamant feeling. Well done. You are very determined in your learning. You are adamant about improving. Word number 11, callous. Our 11th word is a difficult one. It describes a particularly nasty and unkind type of behavior. The word is callous. Say it with me. Callous. One more time. Callous. Good. To be callous means to show an insensitive and cruel disregard for other people. This means you see or know that other people are hurting, but you do not care. A callous person does not care about the suffering of others. The word has a very interesting physical meaning. It comes from the word callus. A callus is a patch of hard, thick skin. You might get a callus on your hand from working hard, or on your foot from new shoes. So a callous person has, metaphorically, a hardened heart or hardened emotions. They have become unfeeling. They cannot feel sympathy for others. Let's explore this with a story. Imagine a big company decides to fire 100 workers. That is already sad. But the company decides to tell the workers on the day before a big holiday, like Christmas. This is a very cruel and insensitive time to give people such bad news. The company is not thinking about the feelings of the workers at all. You could say the company's callous decision to fire employees right before the holidays was met with public anger. This highlights the cruel insensitivity of the action. In a personal situation, imagine your friend just lost their job. They are very sad. And another person says, "Well, maybe you should have worked harder." This comment is not helpful. It is cruel. You would say, it was a callous remark to make to someone who had just lost their job. It shows the comment was cruel and had 0 sympathy. You can also use it to describe a person's whole character. He has become callous over the years. Nothing seems to affect him emotionally anymore. This word is much, much stronger than just rude. It implies a deep coldness and a lack of empathy. A thoughtless person might accidentally hurt your feelings. They didn't mean to. A callous person knows they are causing pain, and they simply do not care. Time for your practice. Think of a villain from a movie or a book. A character who shows a complete disregard for the feelings of others. Describe one of their actions using the word callous. For example, think of a classic villain who has a big, evil laugh after their terrible plan succeeds. You could say, the villain's callous laugh showed his complete lack of humanity. Now it is your turn. Think of a character and their cruel action. This is a heavy word, but it is important for describing a certain kind of behavior. You are learning the full range of human emotion. Word number 12, distraught. And now we have arrived at our final word, our 12th word. For this word, we are diving into a state of extreme emotional pain. The word is distraught. Say it with me. Distraught. Again, distraught. You've got it. To be distraught is to be deeply, deeply upset and agitated. This is not just sad. It is not just worried. It is being so upset that you cannot think clearly. It is a state of mental anguish and panic. Let's look at some examples to feel the intensity of this word. Imagine a woman loves her dog very much. One day she comes home and the door's open. Her dog is gone. She looks everywhere. She calls his name. He is not there. She is not just sad. She is in a panic. She is full of fear and grief. You would say she was distraught when she realized her dog had run away. This word conveys a much deeper panic and pain than just saying she was sad or worried. Let's think of a business situation. Someone saved all their money for many years. They invested it all in a company. Then they get a phone call. The company failed. All of their money is gone. You could say the client was distraught upon learning that their entire investment was lost. This captures a sense of complete and utter despair. You can also use it for your own intense feelings. I was so distraught by the terrible news that I could not sleep all night. This communicates a very high level of emotional pain and turmoil. It is a very powerful word in storytelling. The parents were distraught when they could not find their child in the crowded park. The word distraught immediately creates high emotional stakes. We understand their panic and fear instantly. It is important not to use distraught for small problems. If your favorite sports team loses a normal game, you are upset. You are disappointed. But you are probably not distraught. But if they lose the final championship game in the very last second in a heartbreaking way, then you might be distraught. Save this powerful word for moments of deep grief, worry, or panic. And now for one last challenge. Our final practice for today. Think of a situation that would make someone extremely upset and agitated. Create a sentence using distraught. For example, he was distraught after discovering his passport was missing the day before his international flight. Your turn. Think of a situation and create your sentence. You did it. You have learned all 12 words. Take a moment to feel proud of yourself. And there you have it. 12 powerful words to help you feel more articulate, more intelligent, and more educated. But more importantly, to help you express your true feelings and ideas. We have learned so much today. We learned ubiquitous for something that is everywhere. We learned egregious for a shockingly bad mistake. We learned sanctimonious for someone who pretends to be morally perfect. We learned bleak for a situation that feels hopeless. We learned daunting for a challenge that feels scary and big. And we learned undaunted for the brave person who faces that challenge. We learned unwitting for the person who does not know they are part of a situation. We learned hapless for the very unlucky person. We learned trite for an idea that is boring and overused. And we learned our strong emotional words. Adamant, for a decision that will not change. Callous, for a cruel person who does not care about others' pain. And distraught, for a feeling of deep, panicked sadness. But remember, my friend, just knowing the words is only the first step. The secret is to actually start using them, to make them your friends. So here is my final challenge to you for this week. Try to use at least one or two of these words. Maybe in your journal, maybe in an email, or maybe just in your own thoughts. Do not be afraid to get it wrong. That is how we learn. The more you practice, the more natural they will feel. And now for your most important task. Practice right now in the comments section below if you can. Pick one or two of your favorite words from this episode and write your own simple sentences. I would love to read your sentences. I will be reading through them. This is the best way to lock these words into your permanent vocabulary. Thank you. Thank you for investing this time in yourself today. Learning is a beautiful act of self-love. Remember to be patient with yourself. Be kind to yourself. Your English journey is your own, and you are walking it beautifully. Keep practicing. Keep being curious. Keep being you. See you next time, my friend.